Hi, I'm Amber. Follow along with me as I sew my way to a completely vintage-inspired wardrobe. Alright, so we're going to start on this coat today, and the first thing that I am supposed to do are the darts on the front of the coat. And what I have done first, actually, for myself, is mark which sides are going to be the front. So I've taken masking tape and I have labeled the front piece. So this will be the front facing piece for me. So it's on this side, and then I have it on my second piece, which is right underneath of this. And then the next step that I have done is I'm gonna make the marks for my actual darts. So this is my pattern piece, and here is where it lines up. So you can see that I have taken a pin, and I have a pin in this spot right here as well, and I have marked the top of my dart, and then I have taken just a hole punch and I have reinforced it with this masking tape, and I am doing a little tailor's trick here. So you can see this, you can see where I've marked the top, and then I basically, in this hole that I made, I did a tailor's knot, which is just, this isn't tied tight, this is just something that I have marked where the point of my dart is, and so that is going to be, so I can remove it very carefully. Or I'm sorry, I can remove it easily later on. And then I am just doing a very long basting stitch from my point all the way up here to where the top of my dart is. And then I'm going to do it on, so I'm just moving this so you can see me in the mirror, in the ruler. So you can see here's where my point is, and I am just matching it up here, and I'm going to run a line of stitching, a basting stitch, all the way up to this point. And then what we're going to do is we are going to pinch this together. I'm going to put it under the machine, and I am going to stitch that dart. So this is the general idea. So you can see that here is our point. And again, that's just a tailor's tack, and it will come out very easily along with all of this basting along here that can just be pulled right out. And the reason that I choose to do it this way is because if I mark my wool with chalk, that's not going to come out very easily, and I know that from doing it before. So this way there's no leftover marks, there's nothing that I have to scrub out of the fabric, and you still get your dart. At this point I am going to go ahead and stitch the dart. So I'm not sure if you can see this, but what I have done is I have gone ahead and pressed the dart. Now I'm not sure if a lot of people do this or not, but I find that it's a lot easier to follow along with your dart if it is already pressed into the cloth. So that is what I have done, and I'm just going to do a long basting stitch in the color of thread that I have chosen for this project, and then I will take out this white basting thread and I'll finish up my dart. Alright, so you can see this dart here. I'm happy with it, happy with how it turned out, so I'll go ahead and put it under the machine one more time and do a tighter stitch. At the end where the point is, never back tack. This is going to be where you leave a little bit of thread so that you can just tie it off, and I will show you how I do that. Alright, so you can see I have left a good bit of thread at the end, and then you're just gonna knot it off and then go ahead and clip that. What we're gonna do next is trim the dart down and press it, and I'll do that to the other side, and then we will get on to the next step. All right, so when you trim your dart, you want to go down to roughly an inch, inch and a quarter from your point. I'm going to stop a little bit further away than that because it's getting pretty narrow. And then we are going to just press this down. And that way it's going to lay flat, so on the outside you're not going to see a lot of excess bulk. Alright, step one is done. So we've got both sides, the darts are done and they are pressed, laying nice and flat. You can't see any bulkiness. So we're ready to move on to step number two. So step number two is going to be attaching the two back pieces together, and once that is done, we're going to press that open. Next step is going to be to attach our sleeves. So we have a sleeve front and a sleeve back. So I have gone ahead and sewn the front and back pieces together, and I have pressed open the seam allowance. Make sure with wool that you use a pressing cloth, because otherwise you will leave marks on your fabric from your iron. Next, I'm going to fit the sleeve into the body of the coat. Okay, so now this is fitted in, and you can see that I have lined it up at the side seams and at the top here, also at the top here. And then once I stitch this down where it's pinned, I'll show you how it's going to come together at the shoulder. Alright, so here are all of the seams put together. So we've got our center back seam here, and then our shoulder seams. This is at the back, and then shoulder seam. And you can see it's starting to look like a coat. Okay, so that'll be my stopping point for this video, and the next one I'm going to put together the lining, and then I plan to do a third video to put the entire thing together. That way it's not such a long process. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button so that you can be alerted every time I post new content. We'll see you next time.